Greetings, everybody. My name is Tommy the Keyblade Master, and welcome to my channel. I'm sorry I didn't quite get a few of my projects that I wanted to get done last week done, like my Mario Kart Let's Play. I want to make a few more of those and just try that out. I haven't exactly been feeling well this week. Can't tell, I kind of have a little bit of a case of the sniffles, but hopefully that'll be done and I can get back to some of my projects soon. Anyways, today I want to talk about Alloy7's latest Gamer Life video, which was supporting independent video game stores. He talks about a game store in his area that he supports, that he's friends with the owner, and asks us, what about us? Do we support independent game stores? My answer is no and yes. You see, I live in a small town and I cannot drive, so I don't get to leave it very often. The only place that sells video games in my town is the GameStop. Well, the GameStop and then the Super Walmart right next to it also has video games. But for the most part, it's big corporate box stores that sell the video games. So I don't really have the option of an independent game store in my town. Now, back a few years ago, before Netflix and Hulu kind of came out, I did have a small independent video rental store in my town that I could oftentimes go rent games, and sometimes they would sell them, and I would always check to see what they had to sell, because they oftentimes could give me a good price on a rental video game sale. Unfortunately, that is closed due to, well, let's face it, we're all streaming our movies now rather than going down to the store and renting them. But he talks about that in his video and the importance. So I understand the importance. Even if it's a GameStop or a Walmart, going out and buying your games boxed in a store is kind of nice because you can talk to the associates. If the associates are good, they will give you good conversation back and forth. Independent game stores, and I do have a few. There is one I do go to in a city nearby me that's like 60 miles away. It's called Pueblo, Colorado, who does have a game store called Game Force. And this game store has a lot of classic video games, NES, Super Nintendo, N64. So I go and I oftentimes look at their stock just for fun whenever I'm in town, see if there's anything I'd like to pick up, and maybe talk to a few people in there, see if there's anything I'd like to buy. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes I find a few good deals and I walk out. Now, one of the things he also talks about, and this is true, is we're all starting to go digital with our entertainment. Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, and I'm pretty sure the PS4 all have digital game stores in the consoles that you can go out and buy and download that game to that console without ever having to leave your home. And I admit I do that quite often. Sometimes because the game is offered for free, especially with the Xbox Live Gold perks, and sometimes because they offer me a good deal on a game I might want. For example, if it's a great game and they offer it to me for $3, I might decide to pick that game up digitally. After collecting games and anime for 20 years or so, you kind of have a room that's a little bit too overcluttered with the physical game boxes, and sometimes it's nice to have that digital product. And one of the nice things about digital, and I mentioned this in a few of my videos, is that you also now have smaller and independent games. That's how they're thriving nowadays, is through this digital only. You can't make a big box, small game anymore like you could during the PS2 era or before. Nowadays, you either have to go big or you got to go download. And while download only is great for these independent games, there are flaws in them. For example, one of the games I do hope to review sometime in the future is a PSN game based on Voltron, Defender of the Universe. It was made by the now defunct THQ, and it has of course been pulled off both the PlayStation Network and the Xbox Live Arcade. Now, this game was actually, I thought, a somewhat fun bullet shooter, at least most of the time. It got bad marks because, let's face it, as kids, when we watch Voltron, we always like to hear the words, "ready to form Voltron." In this game, you hate the words "ready to form Voltron" because that's when the game goes from pretty decent to downright crappy. But it was a good game, but since it's been pulled, no one can buy it now. It's gone. If you haven't purchased that game, you won't be able to purchase it again. I still want to talk about it because I'm a fan of the show and I'm a fan of anime, and I might want to put together an anime month sometime soon and just talk about a few really great anime games and a few really crappy anime-based games, and that's one of them. But I can't send people to buy that game anymore. And like I said, it's gone. There's no used market, nothing. It's been pulled. No more sales. No way for me to even sell my copy or to buy a used copy of that. And I think in the future, if we do go digital on all stuff, even the big retail games, we're going to end up having consoles that will ultimately lose themselves. Games that can no longer be played after such amount of time. You won't have classics like Super Mario Brothers or Donkey Kong because people won't be able to get their hands on that game unless they are remade for the newer systems. I hope that doesn't happen, but I can understand why developers want to do that. You cut a whole bunch of costs and you can also help eliminate piracy. So anyways, yeah, I do try to support independent game stores when I can. However, I don't have a lot of options to do that, except maybe out eBay nowadays or whenever I'm in a town near me. And while digital only has its perks, there is going to be some drawbacks that I hope means that we don't get into an age where it's digitally only anytime soon. Anyways, thanks for listening. This is Tommy the Keyblade Master signing out, and if you have a comment, feel free to leave it down below.